The Digimon trading card game has released numerous core sets, side sets, starter decks, and promos. But one thing that really caught my attention this weekend in commentating regionals with Reese the Squirrel was power creep. By the way, if you haven't checked out his channel yet, I highly recommend it. He covers all the deck breakdowns from events, and we work with Eggman events to provide you the data report post-commentary. Both the respective links are in the video descriptions, and I hope it helps. This video is going to look at how the game has evolved in the last 4 years, from the basics to where we are today. But with great power comes great responsibility. Starting off in the infancy of the Digimon trading card game, we were introduced to the basic color identities and the major trade-offs with certain Digimon. Earliest searchers in the Digimon trading card game did not have any inheritable whatsoever, and would continue for the most part being like this up until BT11. Considering the first Agumon searcher added Tamers, Agumon has been featured several times as a searcher already. With BT5, you had a 3-card search and could potentially add 2 cards. With BT8 Agumon, you had a 4-card dig to also potentially add 2 cards. Agumon X and BT9 would be the last searcher that would feature no inheritable, as come BT11, BT12 and beyond, any Agumon that searched also had an inheritable effect. This is also true for other decks too, with Palmon for plant, vegetation, and fairy Digimon upgrading to Lalamon. But even with searching, a majority of Digimon had additional trade-offs that made them enticing to use in the early infancy of the game. I can recall the number of times players would run cards like Groundramon and Lavagaritamon in red, Munzemon and Bastemon for blue decks. With Digimon, it's true that tribal themes weren't a thing in the beginning, since searching for a specific named Digimon was not a thing, and all of this changed in BT5 when we started seeing more searchers who could start adding their respective archetypes line. Again, Agumon and Gabumon being the main contenders. Archetypes have exploded since BT5, from the much oversaturated Agumon and Gabumon lines to more recent buffs and older lines like Palmon into Rosemon X, and Gomamon into Plesiomon X. Don't worry fans, because Bandai is always hatching something new with archetype support. Just look at Insectoid decks and armored Digimon in future sets. Diaboromon even builds into new lines. But for me, the main thing that I wanted to discuss is in regards to Digimon with effects themselves. In the beginning, Digimon had fairly basic keywords. On play, when attacking, when digivolving, and on deletion. Granted, on deletion came with the arrival of purple. Tamers were typically limited to your turn, main, and start of your turn effects, while option cards were simply main. But now Digimon has drastically changed. While it's true some Digimon have when attacking and all turns effects, I do feel that in today's card game, we see a substantial shift to when attacking when digivolving and all turns or even more. We have cards that can give effects to existing Digimon. Just look at Raid War Greymon again as an example from BT12. When digivolving a DP buff and reboot. It has Raid, and of course the all turns effect that lets you unsuspend when attack target is switched. You might argue that I'm harping a lot on Agumon and Greymon, but objectively I feel that because this Digimon is so well known, even outside of the trading card game standards, it's easy to relate to. Ultimately, with the release of BT14, this would be where Bandai would in essence do a soft reset on the Digimon trading card game, with new card game designers bringing us new effects. Never would I have expected super rare level 3 Digimon that would have start of main effects, that would trigger something silly. Free digivolving into a Greymon, Source Strip and be an unblockable, Evo into a level 4 insecurity, and target one of your opponent's Digimon if it suspends, they lose 2 memory. Yes, I'm aware there is also a Lugomon, but my focus here are the Digidestined. This is where we really started seeing shifts in card effects. Granted, these start of main effects would appear as early as BT11 and EX3, in the form of Galacticmon and Chaosdramon X. But most of these Digimon that had these effects were at their peak and level 6 Digimon. To have these effects at the level 3 category simply blew my mind. BT15 would continue this trend with Biomon, Gabumon, Salamon, Tentomon, and Ryudomon as well. And even in future sets, we continue seeing this trend. But the number one set that has my attention for this specific video is EX5. EX5, Animal Coliseum introduced a slew of cards that honestly provided a lot of archetype support. Sure, you had the newest 4 Sovereign deck along with the Grace Novamon deck, but when it came to providing support for Leomon decks, Garurumon, Edamon, and extremely powerful boss monsters for purple, Anubismon was where this became a problem. This is ultimately where I felt that while the concept was really nice, the actual execution of the card was overtuned. This Digimon has a when Digivolving main effect that lets you trash up to 3 cards in your hand, then play 1 purple Digimon card from your trash with the play cost reduced by 3. For each card trashed, reduce the cost further by 1. In addition, when you play a Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon, and if you don't, draw 1. For each effect that plays a Digimon, that's when you draw. A brief clarification that Mervamon playing 2 Digimon is considered one effect, not 2 instances. While true, you can counter this card with several floodgates. My issue became that you could do this effect every turn after you Digivolved into it. My personal opinion would have been, why not tack on an extra condition that makes it so that if this Digimon is the only Digimon in play, you may trigger this effect. Likewise, Leopardmon X would have similar abilities of when Digivolving a main once per turn, but unlike Anubismon, this card would not see as many silly combos as the other. Hercules Kabuterimon from BT15 would have similar mechanics in that you would get its effect when you Digivolve, and at the start of your main phase. My question though, are these types of effects necessarily healthy for the game? Should Digimon have more than just a when Digivolving or when attacking effect? Should Digimon with main effects even be a thing if the effect is repeating the when Digivolving effect? I've repeated this through many of my what if videos in regards to not being a game designer. Whenever I come up with conceptual cards, I'm purely doing it for the maximum flavor or lore that I saw when watching the anime. Even newer cards in BT17 are showing drastic power creeps in the form of DNA digivolution. While normally we had inheritables where playing a Digimon might pass the turn, we did have end of turn inheritables that would allow us to go into our next boss monster that would activate its when Digivolving effect. But with fenriloogamon Takamikazuchi, you could literally hardplay your Kazuchimon and put your opponent to 10 before the DNA Digivolving into this Digimon from the trash, which when you do, you immediately set your opponent's memory to 3. As long as you have 2 memory, you can do this play. But in my mind, you're basically playing a level 6 Digimon for a cost of 5. While you could counter that this is basically an ace Digimon, there's no refund when this stack gets deleted. In your opinion, is power creep moving too quickly? Should more restrictions be placed on card effects that can be repeatedly used in the form of caveats? And what are some elements you liked or disliked about today's video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I will do my best to respond to each and every one. Digimon is a continually evolving game, and we are here as a community to help it grow. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.